Oh my god! Baby, look! Oh my gosh! Hi, my name is Veronica with Mini Urban Farm, a channel about urban homesteading in the suburbs. This week we are talking about raising chickens for meat week 1. So I ordered chicks. I ordered 30 chicks actually, to be exact. They're on their way over to us right now, so they're in transit. They are not here yet. So why did I title this week as week 1? Well, week 1 starts with a whole bunch of things to do before the chickens get here. So this video is going to be on a lot of different information that you need to know if you're raising chickens for meat. I will go ahead and say that this is my very first time raising chickens for meat. I do, however, raise chickens for eggs. And so we decided that after dipping our feet into the chicken raising category, we would go ahead and start with meat chickens. Now, we will be covering all of this information. I have an entire list of stuff that I want to share with you guys. So it is going to be tons of stuff you need to know. But first, I want to start with why meat chickens, right? Like if you're contemplating meat chickens, you're obviously here for a reason. You didn't just click on this because, you never want to raise meat chickens. So why meat chickens? Why my family decided we're going to go ahead and take the plunge into meat chickens. And then what week 1 looks like. So the things that you need to know, the supplies, how to set up the brooder, and then all the stages, like what happens after what happens after they come out of the brooder? Where do you put them? That kind of thing. I'm also going to show you how exactly to build a chick brooder. So I have all the supplies sitting in the garage. I will take you into the garage with me, show you exactly how to put it together. It is very, very easy. It's the exact same way that we put together the brooder when we got chickens for eggs. I'm going to go ahead and share that with you and just show you guys how to do the chick brooder. I'm also going to talk about the different types of meat chickens you can buy. There's a lot of different breeds of chickens. I had no idea how many breeds of chickens there were before I started raising chickens. A lot of different people swear by specifically meat chickens. Some people swear by dual purpose chickens. I will tell you exactly which kind of chickens we got, where we got them from, and why we went with this breed after long talks and just thinking about what it was my family was really looking for. The key to that was sustainability. So we decided we're going to raise a type of chicken that allows us to be as sustainable as possible because we no longer want to have to rely on the grocery store for all of our food. I want to be able to put food on the table that comes out of our garden, that comes from the chicken coop, from chicken tractors, all of that. I want to be able to raise a sustainable source of meat for the homestead. And then I'm also going to take you with me to pick up the chicks. Now the chicks are being shipped to the post office, which means that I have to go pick them up, right? They're not supposed to drop them off on the door of our house because obviously if you're not home and you leave 30 chickens on the front door, that would not be good. But I'm gonna take you guys along with me. I am so excited. I have been tracking this package non-stop. Unfortunately, the postal service is not really giving a whole bunch of updates, but that doesn't stop me from checking it 47 times a day. All right, so why meat chickens? Of course, if you haven't been living under a rock for the past year and a half, all right, you know that we're living in this thing called a pandemic. Prior to the pandemic, a lot of people were already raising chickens for meat. But after the pandemic, a lot of people have been starting gardens, right? Quarantine gardens is a huge thing. And a lot of people have been buying chickens to raise for eggs, meat. I don't want to have to go to the grocery store and depend on the grocery store products and what's available after everybody wipes out everything. I went to the grocery store during the first couple months of the pandemic. I couldn't find lemons. Like lemons. Who is hoarding lemons? I don't get that one. But nonetheless, so why meat chickens? First of all, because I want to be able to provide for our family, all right? And second of all, because I want to know what goes into my meat, right? I want to know what kind of chemicals they're putting in the body. I want to know what they're processing the chickens with. I want to know that stuff. I just want to be able to know what exactly is in my chicken, and maybe that sounds a little bit on the crazy side, but I don't care. I know that a lot of people also have the same thoughts about their food, which is why you should start raising meat chickens if you are still not decided on that. It is also part of our 2021 goals. So I made a goal, an urban homesteading 2021 goals video, and I'll link it above somewhere here. But that video, in that video, I talked about wanting to raise meat chickens for these exact same reasons. So if you haven't seen that, go check it out after this video, of course. So let's talk about what you're gonna need, right? You are going to need a brooder, right? That is because week 1, you have to have somewhere to put the chickens. You can't just let them run around the house, all right? It will make a mess. You need some sort of a brooder. You need some sort of a heat lamp. You need a food container, a water, right, specific for baby chicks. And I will show you all of those things later on in the video when I am showing you how to set up the brooder. I will show you all the supplies, and I'll link all the supplies below also so you can get them. So you're gonna have to know how to set up a brooder, which is exactly what I'm going to show you. But week 1 is really preparing for the chickens, right? Week 1, in my opinion, starts a couple days before, right? You need your supplies, you need a place to put the chickens, setting up the brooder, all of that, going to pick up your chickens, you know, if that's getting them at the tractor supply store or wherever it is you get your chickens from, or hatching them out yourself. Although I think if you're hatching out your own chickens, you're probably not watching this video because you know way more than I know. But either way, you have to get your chickens somehow. And then making sure that in the first, 48 hours, 72 hours, whatever, they are eating and drinking. That is a very important step. So you end up having to dip all of the chickens, the little chicks' beaks in the water so that they can start drinking and they know where the water is and all of that. All right. So now let's go into my garage and I will show you how to set up the brooder. It is super simple. But yeah, let's go. All right, so we are on our way into the garage here. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna put the camera down, take the golf cart out of the way so that I can actually film, and I'll be right back. Okay, so this is my brooder box. It's 40 inches by 23 inches, right? So I got this at Walmart. It was like 15, 20 bucks. I can't remember exactly how much it was, and it comes with a lid. Now, I have an extra box, right? So I subscribed to a wine club. It says it's wine o'clock there, which is my favorite hour, by the way. But I have my extra box. I'm going to use this as basically like an overflow, a spare box in case the chickens get really big really fast and then need to be, need to have extra room. I'll take some of them and I'll put them in that other box. I probably won't set up that one right now, just because I don't think that we're gonna need it for the first couple weeks, and then they're going to be going out into a chicken tractor anyway. So I have a box, right? I have my chicken water and my chicken feeder. All right, these cost, I think, maybe like $7 each. I got them at a local feed store, but you can also buy them on Amazon. I was going to buy them on Amazon, but we ended up having to go get chicken food, and I just saw these and we just picked them up. So we have those, and then you're going to need some sort of a heating lamp. So this is specifically for chicken brooders. It has like an attachment here that you can position, down or up or whatever. You kind of like clamp it like this onto whatever it is you're clamping it. So you can clamp it this way, which is how we had it last time. This time we're gonna have it going downwards. But I'll show you exactly what we're gonna do, and then you have your red light bulb. Now, I know a lot of people think that these are like a fire hazard, which I'm sure, yeah, they could be if you're leaving, a light bulb on in the garage for a while. But you can also buy like a little chick heater thing, and I'll leave a link to the description if you're worried about that. I've never had a problem with this. We've used this for several times now for our egg chickens, and that was fine. So I'm gonna continue using this. Eventually I'll probably get a little chickie heater, but this was much cheaper, and this works just fine. So I'm also going to put a cover on the box, but I'm going to cut out the cover and put hardware cloth on top. That way, just in case, like this is not gonna fall, it's never fallen before, but in case it does fall into the box, then it's not like, then it's not like this is gonna end up on top of the chickens, because there will be something to catch it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and assemble this and cut out the top and all of that, so you'll get to see. So one more thing, I am using duct tape, chicken wire. I think it's chicken wire. I don't think it's hardware cloth. So chicken wire was just cheaper and it'll be fine. Really the only thing that I need the chicken wire for is so that I don't put like the lid on top of the box and the chickens suffocate, because Milo, who's a 110-pound Rhodesian Ridgeback dog, he likes chicken a lot, and he tries to eat the chickens if it's not covered. So I want to protect the chickens from Milo, and that's why we're putting a cover on the box. So I have my duct tape, I have a knife to cut the hole out, and then I have my pine shavings too. All right, so you want to make sure that you get pine shavings, and I use the, oh, there you go. And I use the ones that are like flake. They're not the fine shavings. Just, so it's more absorbent. I think I read somewhere, and I can't remember where it was a long time ago, that says you're supposed to use like the thicker pine shavings, right? The ones that are like labeled flake. And it's, whoop, there, I don't think it's focusing. There you go. It's that. So I'm just gonna take that, and I'm gonna line the bottom of the box of the brooder with all the pine shavings. that should be plenty. The entire bottom of the box is covered. There's no holes. And you want to also make sure you have enough pine shavings because you're gonna need to change these out when the chickens poop and get water everywhere, and you just want to make sure you have everything that you need on hand. So I am not going to fill the water and the food until the chickens get here, but I would put them in here. I would put the water on one corner and I would put this on the other corner, right, of course full, just like that. So as you can see, we have the food system and then the water over there, and then the chickens are kind of gonna huddle up. At first, you need to have enough space for the chickens, right? So this brooder box, they'll probably outgrow this, and I'll put more in the cardboard box that I have. But what ends up happening is they kind of tend to huddle underneath the light. They don't really, like, they'll scatter around, but essentially they all tend to always like huddle in the same corner in the same area. So I'm not really too concerned about having tons and tons of space for them. When they start getting bigger and walking around more and, you know, trying to flap their wings and stuff, then I will move them into our little overflow box, or by that time they might be fully feathered and time to go in the tractor, so that'll be fine. I'm also gonna take my poultry netting. All right, I'm gonna take this and cut the hole in the box and duct tape this to the top. So we just finished putting the lid on with the chicken wire mesh, the poultry mesh, and so I have just gone and duct taped, right? So you saw I cut out, or we cut out, I had to enlist some help because that plastic is quite thick, and I just cut, or just cut the mesh, or the plastic part out, put the mesh to the same size and duct taped it all around. Now it's not on there very securely. It's not like I can pick this up by the mesh, but for what I want it for is basically to keep Milo out of sticking his head in the box of chickens, and that's pretty much it. So it's gonna work just fine for that. Now we need a place in order to hang our heating lamp, right? So there is next to me on the wall an outlet, right? So that's quite important. I'm gonna plug it in on the wall, and then this is actually going to hang right above, like that. So last time we did this, we kind of put a pole and strapped it. We did like a dog cage all around, and we strapped a pole to that, and then put this on the pole. But this time, in order to not make as much of a mess with the dog cage, we're going to put a ladder. So the ladder is gonna kind of go across right over the chicken brooder, and this is gonna hang from the ladder and just stare right down into the chickens. So I'll go ahead and set that up, and then I'll show you the entire setup. All right, so here you can see we have our chick brooder. The ladder is holding on to the, or rather I should say the heating lamp is holding onto the ladder. All right, and then inside you can see this is kind of just on there, you know, but that's fine. It's not like coming off or anything. We have the chicken feeder, the chick feeder, and the water, and I'll fill those up when we get our chickies. And then it is connected over to the wall. What I'll do if this doesn't get hot enough, right, because the chickens need, I think it's something like 100 degrees Fahrenheit, don't quote me on that, but if the chickens are still too cold, then I will raise this up. I'll raise the entire brooder up by putting like 2x4s right underneath these, and then they'll just sit closer to the heating lamp, and then the same thing, if it's too hot after that, then I'll take off the 2x4s. Okay, so now that the brooder is all set up, let's talk about chicken breeds, right? So if you are planning on getting meat chickens, you're gonna have to know which breed you want to get. So the standard meat chickens, right, like the ones that we all have in our head with the, you know, the big chicken breast and chicken thighs and all that stuff, right, what we're accustomed to normally is the Cornish cross or the Red Ranger. So both of those are considered meat chickens, right? If you go on to Hoover's Hatchery, which is where we got ours, or any other hatchery for that matter, you're gonna find that there's egg laying chickens, or There's egg layers for chickens, and then there's meat chickens. The reason we did not go with meat chickens is because meat chickens for us are not sustainable. I paid $90, and I'll put a screenshot here. I paid $90 for 30 chicks. I wanted to not have to pay the hatchery again, right? I don't want to have to order meat chickens and then in another 3 months or 6 months or whatever the case is, have to order another 30 set of chickens, right? So when you're talking about sustainability, you need a chicken breed that you can hatch out. Now, you can hatch out the Cornish cross or the Red Ranger or anything else that's labeled a meat chicken, right? They lay eggs and you can hatch them out. However, if you hatch those out, you're not going to get the same type of bird that hatches, right? So it's not going to be the same characteristics. It might look different. It's not going to hatch true to the breed, right? And that is because those meat chickens are hybrids, right? They were, two different chickens were crossed, and that is how you get a meat chicken. What you're looking for is a heritage bird. You're looking for a heritage chicken. Now, there's several different types of heritage chickens. Generally, they're labeled dual purpose. That's from, in my experience, what I've been doing the research on. It's labeled dual purpose. Now, we got Plymouth Barred Rock, right? And I'll put a picture of what they look like here on the screen somewhere, so you can see. They are very, very pretty, which it's not the reason we got them, but they're really cute. So I really like those ones, and they're sustainable, right? They're a dual purpose bird. They are good for eggs. You can keep them for eggs, which we probably won't be doing. We have, our chicken coop for our eggs already, and our chickens for our eggs. But you can keep them for eggs, but they also produce a really good meat bird. So we will be using all of these for meat. We will take, well, let me rephrase that. We're going to use the majority of these for our meat birds, right? We are going to put the majority of them in the freezer. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to take a breeding stock of probably anywhere between 5 to 7 chickens, depending. There's like a ratio of how many, hens to roosters you want. You don't want like multiple roosters in a flock. So our breeding stock will probably be about 5-ish chickens, and we are going to raise those to maturity. They will not go in our fridge. So 1 rooster and probably 4 or 5 hens. Those will be our breeding stock moving forward. So we will use those eggs, right? Not to eat. We're going to use those eggs to hatch out new chickens, which then we will raise for meat in the future. So we don't have to go to the hatchery and order another supply of chickens. Now with meat chickens, right, because if you hatch them, they're not really true to size, which is really the only reason you want specific meat chickens, right? Because they produce that meat bird that grows fast and it grows large. Hatching it would kind of defeat the purpose because those eggs that hatch out, they don't produce birds that look the same as the meat chickens that you ordered. So you can do it, but it kind of defeats the purpose for us. I want to know exactly what type of chicken I'm hatching out, and I want to know exactly what I'm going to be getting after all of that hard work. So that is why we went with Plymouth Barred Rock. There are several other types of chicken that you can, chicken breeds that you can order that are heritage birds, but the main point of that is you want a heritage bird. So if you're not sure if the breed of chicken that you like or that you want to get is a heritage bird, right? Because it's not necessarily going to tell you on the hatchery website. Google, that breed of chicken, heritage bird. Is Plymouth Barred Rock a heritage breed, right? You'll get an answer. It's pretty, look through 2 or 3 articles, and it's pretty easy to find if that bird is a heritage bird. And since we will be keeping a breeding stock of these chickens, that means that we need a separate chicken coop. I do not want the chickens that we currently have in our chicken coop to be, mingling, I guess you want to say. Like, I don't want them to be crossed. I don't want to have any discrepancies of whether or not this is a hybrid bird that I'm hatching out or anything like that. So I want a separate chicken coop, which I will film, but I'm going to kind of attach it to the other one. They will be separate though. It won't be the same coop. It'll be like they'll share a wall essentially. So we're gonna do that separate coop and keep our breeding stock, and we're also gonna have a chicken tractor where we keep all of the chickens and we can move them every day. So if you don't know what a chicken tractor is, it's basically a structure, and it's very generally is low to the ground, so it doesn't really look like a coop, but it has wheels sometimes, but essentially the thing is that it's like a 3-sided cage, right? And then you pick it up and move it every single day, or you kind of like drag it along the floor to move it every single day or every other day, or whatever the case is, whatever the frequency, so that the chickens are essentially, they're not really free ranging, but they're getting a new spot on the pasture every other day. So we don't really have pasture. We have it's like we bought land, and it's a forest essentially, so it's not grass, but they still, like, we let them out to free range, ours that we currently have. So we let ours out to free range and they find bugs and ticks and all the other stuff. So that will be the same for the chicken trailer, for the chicken tractor chickens. And they'll be able to pick up all the bugs off the floor and all of that, in addition to all of the crumble that we're giving them. So we will raise those to about 4 months. I think the downfall with a heritage bird is that it takes longer, right? That is why you would want a meat chicken. They grow faster and they grow bigger. But I think that for me, when I was talking to Alan, you know, we decided that we would rather wait a little bit longer and be able to have a sustainable meat source than have to go back to the hatchery, you know, if anything does happen, like a pandemic happens, or, you know, another pandemic hits or something, and they're out of meat chickens, then yeah, then you're kind of like in the same position as the grocery store. So I did order the chicks a little bit early. I looked online and they were almost out of stock, right? So like you'll see the ship dates and it'll tell you what's available for those certain ship dates, and most of the ship dates were already gone. So I just went ahead and ordered them. I ordered them in the middle of January. They shipped out yesterday. And I just got a confirmation that they arrived at the destination. So I think they arrived at the post office. I have not gotten a call from the post office yet. So I think I should be getting a call, or maybe they're still in, like, they arrived at a different facility or something. But I will be going to pick those up probably tomorrow. So I am really, really excited. I will be taking you along with me. And you'll get to see all the fluffiness and the cuteness and all of that. So stay tuned for that. Alright, so it is now the next day, and just as I suspected, I got a notification that they had arrived at the facility, and then shortly after that, the post office called me. They called this morning to let me know around 8:30 in the morning that the chickens are there. So I'm really excited. We got dressed and we are in the car heading to get the chickens and taking you with us. So when we get there, I will film it, hopefully. I'm not sure if they're going to allow us to film inside the post office, but we shall find out. So I can't wait. Alright, so we just got in the car. We picked up our baby chicks. So we're not allowed to record inside the post office, but I have not opened the box yet. They just handed us this box. So I'm going to try to open this and show you guys. Oh my god, I am so excited. Oh my god! Baby, look! Oh my gosh! How cute are they? Oh my gosh! They're so cute! Look how cute! Look how cute they are! So we're gonna take them home and give them their food and their water, and maybe they'll liven up a little bit because they're all kind of just like sitting down inside the box, not moving. But oh my god, look how cute they are. Alright, so we have the water. Alan just put in the food over there, and I'm going to take the box of baby chicks, open it up right next to me, and then put them in one by one. Alright, so we have all of our baby chicks. We have the heat lamp there. I'm going to take a thermometer and I'm going to put it underneath here so that you can tell how hot it is in here. They need at least 95 degrees. Well, they need 95 degrees, not at least. They need it to be 95 degrees, and then every week you reduce the temperature by 5 degrees. But basically, the main thing you want to consider is if they're kind of like moving around, they're not all huddled, right? You see these ones in here are kind of like huddled right under the light. But these ones over here are going out to eat, and you have some that, actually there was a bunch drinking just now, but they're kind of moving around. So that's a good temperature. You don't ever want them all to be like huddled right under the light. That means it's cold. Or if they're like, none of them are here under the light, and they're kind of trying to avoid the light, that means it's probably too hot. I just put them in here, so there are still a few that aren't really like picking up, right? They're kind of like weak, I think. I don't think they've had any food for the last couple days. I don't know if they fed them at the hatchery or not before they shipped out, but they are starting to pick up. You see a few of them found the food container already. Basically what I did is I just dipped their beaks in water, right? So I have my little water container. I just gave them water so that they knew where the water was, and then they just kind of flocked to it. Okay, so our chicks are in the brooder in the garage. I just kind of watch them for a couple minutes and I'll go back there and check, make sure that they're all kind of moving around, that the temperature is correct and all of that stuff. So everything is set up. That is week 1. Now we ordered 30 chicks. All of them made it except one. So one did arrive and it was already dead, but it doesn't look like it was anything wrong with it. It looks like what happened was there's like a box, right, and there's a divider in the middle, so we have 15 on one side and 15 on the other side, and then there was like some, like, not plastic but like styrofoam, right, that was going around it, and it looks like that one ended up being trampled or something, and it got stuck under the styrofoam, which is what looks like, you know, it's kind of like sticking out from there. So poor thing, that one did not make it, but all the other ones are doing fine. They're moving around, they're drinking, they're eating. So that's pretty much week 1. I mean, the setup, the bringing the chicks home, staring at them for countless hours moving forward, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was really informative. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you've made it this far, for more urban homesteading content. Thanks. Bye.